Elon Musk is shocked after Googling black homeless man's name and finding Millionaire secret. Elon's finger trembled over the keyboard as the search results lit up his screen. He had just typed in Samuel Davis, San Francisco. It was the name of a black homeless man he had seen days ago, sitting quietly by the crowded street corner. Weathered clothes, tired eyes, invisible to the city's rush. But what came next slammed through Elon like a sudden jolt. Samuel Davis wasn't just another homeless face. No, the search unearthed headlines buried in old tech archives, forgotten news stories about a young genius who had vanished overnight after a massive scandal. Articles sprinkled with whispers: tech prodigy turned whistleblower, Amazon chief sues ex-employee, explosive secrets revealed. And then, there it was, the impossible truth. Samuel Davis was once a millionaire inventor who built tech that could change everything before the world turned its back on him. Elon's heart pounded. The city's noise faded as his mind sailed through images of Samuel's steady hands, the soft blur of wisdom behind dirt-streaked eyes, and the sharp sting of betrayal likely etched deep into his soul. Without warning, Elon dove headfirst into the mystery. Phone calls, private chats, checking timelines. Samuel's teammates had abandoned him. Investors scared off. Powerful figures desperate to bury Samuel's discoveries before they saw the light. Elon's own world tilted. This wasn't just a forgotten man. This was a buried story of brilliance, pain, and survival. When Elon finally found Samuel again, the man looked up slowly, cautious, brittle, yet something flickered in his gaze, like a suppressed fire. The air between them was heavy, filled with hesitation and raw history no one wanted to face. But under the cracked skin and worn clothes, Elon glimpsed the spark of genius that once ignited whole industries. They forged a fragile alliance, but the shadows lurking around them darkened fast. Warnings whispered from faceless threats. Invitations to collaborate shattered under the weight of distrust. Elon's mind screamed. Was he protecting Samuel or exploiting the treasure of his knowledge? The more they dug, the deeper the danger grew. One cold night, Samuel dropped a hint, a secret so massive it could flip the tech world upside down. But before Elon could grasp it, a shadow emerged. A man from Samuel's past, cold and cruel, with eyes full of old grudges. Suddenly, the risks were in the open, threatening to swallow them both whole. Elon's hands clenched into fists. His breath came shallow. Could he save Samuel from the darkness clawing back at him? Or was his own hunger for greatness about to drag them both under? Something fierce was coming. A truth that would shatter everything Elon thought he knew. The city roared outside, indifferent, but inside, the silence was deafening. What does Samuel know? Who is this ghost from the past? And will Elon's next move be the one that destroys or redeems them both? The answers hung in the air, thick and heavy, waiting to explode. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Elon felt the heat of the moment, his thoughts racing, pulse pounding in his ears. Samuel leaned closer, his expression tense. Elon, there's something you need to know, he started, his voice barely above a whisper, thick with fear. The full weight of their conversation hung heavy. Just outside, the clang of city life roared. But inside this small bubble they had created, it felt like the world had quieted down, as if waiting for a revelation. Suddenly, the door slammed open, the metal swinging wide with a violent crash. A figure stepped in, tall, dressed in a dark coat and fedora, casting a long shadow across the room. The room froze. Samuel stiffened, eyes wide. It was a man from Samuel's past. A ghost returned to hunt him down. You shouldn't be here, Samuel. The man growled, voice low and menacing. You're playing a dangerous game. Elon bristled. Who are you? He demanded, stepping in front of Samuel instinctively, ready to shield him. But the man chuckled, almost dismissively. You don't know what you're getting into, Musk. You think you're saving him? Here's the twist. You're both in over your heads. Time seemed to freeze, tension thick like smoke. Samuel's expression darkened. I thought I was safe. I thought. His voice trailed off. It was a thought unspoken, weaving through the air like a dark thread, suffocating. Elon took a step closer. What do you mean? He pressed, determination growing. The man smiled, chilling and sly. You think Samuel was just a whistleblower? No, he's got secrets that could light the world on fire. But like a moth to a flame, there are those who don't want it to burn. And they'll do anything to silence him. Elon felt the ground shift beneath him. Shock coursed through his veins. Bah! The $1,000,000 secrets Samuel held weren't just tech discoveries. They were something far more sinister. Samuel's face twisted in anguish. I didn't ask for this. I wanted to protect the world from the truth, not expose it. Before Elon could respond, the man's voice cut like steel. You think protection looks like this? You're both blind, and they're coming for you. Panic gripped Elon. Who was Samuel really? The genius, the victim, or something more dangerous? The man took a step closer, letting the weight of his words settle. You're standing on a powder keg, and the match is lit. And just like that, chaos erupted. Outside, a loud crash echoed. Glass shattered from a nearby storefront. Yells erupted, mingling with the deep rumble of distant chaos. The city was cracking open. Elon turned back, focusing on Samuel, eyes pleading. We need to leave now! But Samuel's gaze was vacant, haunted. I can't. They'll come for me, for both of us. I was told. I didn't think they would. Elon felt his breath tighten, chest heavy with dread. The pieces were falling into place, but they barely resembled a clear picture. Was Samuel a martyr or something more? The man smirked, clearly enjoying the unraveling. Time's ticking, gentlemen. You think you're the heroes? What if I told you Samuel is just the beginning. Before anything could be said, a figure loomed at the entrance, silhouetted against the chaos outside. A moment froze. Then, everything changed. The ominous tension shifted. The face that appeared wasn't just familiar. It was deadly. It was someone from Elon's world. Someone he thought he could trust. "Get away from him!" They shouted, and the weight in the room blasted apart. Elon stood between friendship and betrayal, the world around him spinning fast. "Who are you?" "Oh," he shouted, fear lacing his voice, uncertainties flooding in like a storm. And with that one moment, everything spiraled. The truth dancing somewhere just out of reach. What were the real stakes? And how far would they go to keep secrets hidden? Staring into Samuel's eyes, Elon felt terror tighten his throat. The answers they sought were wrapped in chaos, and the real game had only just begun. Elon felt the air thicken as he and Samuel stood in the dim light of the alley, shadows flickering like ghosts caught in a dance between the two men. The city outside roared along, but here, in this secret corner, time felt suspended. Samuel took a deep breath, his face a mixture of caution and resolve, and leaned closer. "There's something you need to understand, Elon," Samuel said, his voice low, barely a whisper, but heavy with gravity. "These tech giants, they didn't just want to bury my work. They wanted to erase me. They knew what I had, and they'd kill to keep it hidden." Elon swallowed hard. "What do you mean, kill?" Just then, an unexpected sound shattered the tension. A sharp, crackling noise, like breaking glass. A figura emergía de los shadows, estepándoselo con timo. Era un hombre, celoso y menosacado, con una sonrisa que le envió el chill a cerrarse de la espalda de Elon. Y el tono de Samuel de envíase de en sus ojos cansados, reconoció en la voz. «Sentir». El corazón se detenía en la palma. He could feel the danger lurking in the air, every instinct screaming for him to run. "Who is he?" he asked, casting quick glances between Samuel and the intruder. Daniel chuckled, a low, mocking sound that filled the silence. "Oh, Samuel, you think you can hide from your past?" "They sent me to find you. You really should have stayed lost in the shadows." Elon's mind raced. Who was this man? This wasn't just a threat. This was a reckoning. Samuel's back was pressed against the wall, and Elon felt his own breath catching in his throat. "Listen," Samuel said, trying to stand tall, but his voice wavered. "You don't have to do this. We can talk. We can figure something out." But Daniel shook his head, his eyes dark and calculating. "You have no idea how deep this goes. This isn't just about you anymore. They want what you have, and they'll go through anyone to get it." Suddenly, Samuel's expression hardened. "You're not taking anything from me," he snapped back, a flicker of the old fire igniting within him. Then, with a swift movement, Daniel reached into his coat. A glint of metal caught the light, and time seemed to freeze. Elon's heart thundered in his chest as he realized what it was. A gun. "Samuel!" Elon shouted, lunging forward instinctively, adrenaline coursing through him. In the chaos, everything exploded. Daniel pulled the trigger, the shot echoing like a thunderclap. A scream tore through the air. But it wasn't Samuel. It was Elon, grasping for the truth. feeling something tear within himself. A realization so shocking it turned his world upside down. And then, chaos erupted as Samuel lunged forward, pushing Elon aside just as the bullet found its mark. Not in Samuel, but in the ground, ricocheting off like a firecracker. The moment shattered. Daniel's smug grin faded, replaced by anger, as he turned towards Samuel, ready to pull the trigger again. Something changed in the air. The shadows whispered secrets, truths lost to time. Elon's heart sank as he grasped the gravity of the situation. He looked at Samuel, and for the first time, he saw something different in his eyes. A surpassing depth, a glint of something he had never imagined. "Your life," Samuel said, his voice low and steady. "It's not what you think. You need to know who I really am and why they're after me." The words hung in the air, thick with tension, altering everything. The truth was slipping through like sand between fingers. As Daniel prepared to strike again, the stakes instantly skyrocketed. Elon was caught in a whirlwind, questions hammering against his brain. What did Samuel mean? Who was he truly? And why had the past returned to haunt them both? The silence was deafening, pregnant with the weight of unspoken revelations. Everything Elon thought he knew was shifting like a tide, leaving him gasping for clarity amid the tumult. The city roared outside, but within that dark alley, a storm was brewing, one that could either save them both or destroy everything. What was the secret Samuel held? And in the shadows, what was Daniel prepared to do to reclaim the past? The answers were elusive, swirling around them like smoke, leaving not just fear, but anticipation in their wake. Elon felt the air thicken as he and Samuel stood in the dim light of the alley, shadows flickering like ghosts caught in a dance between the two men. The city outside roared along, but here, in this secret corner, time felt suspended. Samuel took a deep breath, his face a mixture of caution and resolve, and leaned closer. "There's something you need to understand, Elon," Samuel said. "They knew what I had, and they'd kill to keep it hidden." Elon swallowed hard. "What do you mean, kill?" Just then, an unexpected sound shattered the tension. A sharp, crackling noise, like breaking glass. A figure emerged from the shadows, stepping into the dim light. It was a man, tall and menacing, with a knowing smirk that sent a chill down Elon's spine. Samuel's expression shifted. Fear crept into his tired eyes as recognition washed over him. "Daniel," Samuel breathed, his voice trembling. Elon's heart raced. He could feel the danger lurking in the air, every instinct screaming for him to run. "Who is he?" he asked, casting quick glances between Samuel and the intruder. Daniel chuckled, a low, mocking sound that filled the silence. "Oh, Samuel, you think you can hide from your past? They sent me to find you. You really should have stayed lost in the shadows." Elon's mind raced. Who was this man? This wasn't just a threat. This was a reckoning. Samuel's back was pressed against the wall, and Elon felt his own breath catching in his throat. "Listen," Samuel said, trying to stand tall, but his voice wavered. You don't have to do this. We can talk. We can figure something out." But Daniel shook his head, his eyes dark and calculating. "You have no idea how deep this goes. This isn't just about you anymore. They want what you have, and they'll go through anyone to get it." Suddenly, Samuel's expression hardened. "You're not taking anything from me," he snapped back, a flicker of the old fire igniting within him. Then, with a swift movement, Daniel reached into his coat. A glint of metal caught the light, and time seemed to freeze. Elon's heart thundered in his chest as he realized what it was. A gun! "Samuel?" Elon shouted, lunging forward instinctively, adrenaline coursing through him. In the chaos, everything exploded. Daniel pulled the trigger, the shot echoing like a thunderclap. A scream tore through the air, but it wasn't Samuel. It was Elon, grasping for the truth, feeling something tear within himself. A realization so shocking, it turned his world upside down. And then, chaos erupted as Samuel lunged forward, pushing Elon aside just as the bullet found its mark. Not in Samuel, but in the ground, ricocheting off like a firecracker. The moment shattered. Daniel's smug grin faded, replaced by anger. As he turned towards Samuel, ready to pull the trigger again, something changed in the air. The shadows whispered secrets, truths lost to time. Suddenly, a bright flash lit the alley, blinding Elon and Samuel for a split second. The explosion was deafening, sending a shockwave through the alley. Daniel staggered back, eyes wide with fear and surprise. As the smoke cleared, a figure emerged from the chaos, standing tall amid the rubble. It was a woman. Her presence was electric, her eyes fierce and unwavering. "Elon! Samuel!" she shouted, urgency lacing her voice. Elon blinked, confusion twisting in his gut. Who was she? But before he could answer, she aimed a sleek device at Daniel. "You won't hurt anyone again," she declared firmly. With a swift movement, she pressed a button. A surge of energy pulsed through the air, and Daniel froze, his gun slipping from his grip, falling to the ground with a thud. "What are you doing here, Lily?" Samuel's voice was low, shock evident on his face. "Saving you both," she replied, her gaze fierce. "But I need to tell you something. It's about your invention, Samuel. The one they wanted to silence. The truth is, it wasn't just tech. It was so much worse." Elon's heart raced again, the tension thickening. "What do you mean worse?" he demanded, stepping closer. Just then, a low rumble echoed from above. The sky bore down suddenly, dark clouds swirling. "They're coming," Lily warned, her urgency amplifying. A small drone whirred into view, hovering ominously above them. It descended with purpose, a single red light trained on the trio. "It was never just about the tech," Lily continued urgently. "You're all pawns, caught in a game far bigger than you know." Suddenly the ground shook, a distant explosion echoed, and time pressed in on them, as if the world outside their small bubble was collapsing. The truth was crashing in, consuming them in a whirlwind of fear and uncertainty. Elon looked at Samuel, desesperación hecha en su cabeza. Would uncovering the truth save them, or destroy everything they believed in? The pieces were shifting erratically, like loose stones in a landslide. As they braced for the imminent danger, one thing pulsed through Elon's mind. Who was truly in control of their fates, and what secrets lay just beneath the surface? As the silence wrapped around Elon and Samuel like a heavy blanket, a chill crept into the air. The tension was electric. Samuel's eyes bore into Elon, a mixture of fear and defiance swirling within them. Elon could sense the words lingering, ready to tumble out like a tightly held secret. Suddenly, a shout shattered the quiet. They both turned, startled. A figure emerged from the shadows, a man with a gaunt face and wild eyes. His presence felt like ice against skin. "Samuel," he yelled, stalking toward them, anger radiating from him with every step. Elon scanned the street, the bustling crowd oblivious to the drama unfolding just a few feet away. The man was relentless. "You think you can hide?" His voice cut through the evening air, sharp and accusing. "Who is he?" Elon whispered, his heart racing. Samuel's face blanched. It was a flash of something deeper, a history soaked in ghosts. With every step, the unknown man seeped closer. "You don't know who you're dealing with." He spat, each word meant to wound. Elon felt the world tilt, anxiety clawing at his throat. Samuel's hantes trembló ever so slightly, pero se puso de pie. "Déjanos", Samuel dijo, su voz entrébil, aunque firme. La determinación sorprendió a Elon. Pensó que sabía qué pasó a este hombre, pero ahora se realizó una grandísima cantidad debajo de la trama. El labio de la figura se exhibió. You think you can just walk back? You abandon it. Elon's wrath caught. What did he abandon? He thought. Su mente se corría, the puzzle pieces spinning wildly. "Samuel, don't engage," Elon urged, fear turning his words raw. But Samuel held firm, something fierce igniting in his eyes. "He'll expose you, ruin everything. Again," the man warned, as if it was an old play he knew by heart. "You can't run from your past." Elon's chest tightened further. What did this man know? Was Samuel's past the missing piece they needed? Or was it poison? "Enough!" Samuel's voice boomed, shaking with suppressed rage. "You think you can control me with fear? I won't let you destroy me again! Dot!" Just then, the stranger lunged, a blurred motion of desperation. Samuel ducked, a quick reflex. But before Elon could react, a cold blade gleamed in the dim light, an instinctive flash that electrified the air. It wasn't just a fight over an idea. This was life and death. Everything stopped. Time froze as the blade's glint caught the city lights. Elon recoiled, horror pooling in his stomach. "Samuel!" he shouted, panic twisting his voice. The crowd turned, whispers rising like a tidal wave, but the two men were caught in their own storm. Samuel stumbled back, eyes wide, not with fear, but recognition, as a grim smile spread across his lips. "So you've returned, Jack. I see it now." The twist hit Elon like a punch to the gut. Jack? The name rang a bell. Tales of betrayal, a fiery argument over something monumental. Elon's mind raced. There was something he had missed, something dark and twisted lurking in the shadows of Samuel's past. And then it happened. Samuel lunged forward, grappling for the blade. In one horrifying moment, the two men collided. The crowd gasped collectively. Screams erupted. Was it revenge? Redemption? For a second, as chaos broke, Elon hesitated, caught in a whirlwind of betrayal. Could he trust Samuel? Or had that spark he'd seen in him just been a flicker of deception? As bodies surged in panic, Elon realized everything he thought he knew was hanging by a thread, and the truth was about to break into a million shards. What really lay behind Samuel's fall from grace? Would Jack's return seal their fate or free them both? The answers darkened the air, and the night felt charged with unsaid truths, waiting to explode. Elon's heart raced as he stared at Samuel. The fire in Samuel's eyes flickered. There was something he wasn't saying, a truth beneath layers of silence and pain. Just as the air seemed to thicken around them, their world shattered. Out of nowhere, a sudden crash echoed down the street. A thug lunged at them. The man was tall, muscles bulging beneath a leather jacket. Pure menace. Samuel's face blanched. Panic flickered across his features. "Run!" he shouted, but before either could move, the figure lunged forward. Elon's instincts kicked in. He grabbed Samuel's arm, pulling him closer. They stumbled back, hearts hammering. A sharp blade glinted in the streetlights. The attacker was relentless. "You think you can shake me?" he snarled, eyes filled with rage as he squared off. "You owe me, Samuel!" Elon's chest tightened. What's going on? The questions tore through him like jagged glass. Samuel's gaze was wild. He's part of the past I've tried to escape. This is why I've been hiding. The big man stepped closer, breath hot, sneering. You think dodging me will keep the truth hidden? I will expose you. A chill washed over both men. Samuel's past was much darker than just betrayal. Something worse loomed. As they exchanged confused glances, Samuel's shoulders slumped further. I didn't tell you everything. Before Elon could process the weight of those words, another crash rang out, louder this time, nearly shaking the ground. It pulled their attention. A black van screeched up, tires threatening to burst. In an instant, men spilled out. More thugs, faces hidden, eyes cold as steel. ... Get in! One of them shouted, pointing at Samuel. We're not here to play games. With adrenaline coursing through him, Elon grabbed Samuel with both hands. We have to go now. But Samuel hesitated. His brows knitted together in stark conflict. I can't. If they take me, they'll find out who I really am, everything I did. Elon's heart sank. What do you mean? Just as Samuel opened his mouth, his words swallowed by urgency, fear flooded his expression. I was the one who created the tech. But I didn't just invent it. I discovered something much darker hidden in the code. It could ruin. Elon felt his insides twist. Suddenly, everything about Samuel shifted. The homeless man wasn't just a victim. He was the spark that ignited a monstrous machine. What kind of secret? But the thugs closed in, one of them clutching something sharp, ready to strike. The city buzzed with noise, but it sounded far away. Shadows crept closer, and panic surged anew. Trust me, Elon, Samuel shouted, eyes pleading. If you care at all, let this go. No, Elon yelled back, a lump forming in his throat. We can't let them take you. But before more could be said, chaos erupted. Sirens screamed down the street, and lights flashed. The thugs panicked, glancing towards the approaching law enforcement. Get in! Elon shouted again, tugging Samuel hard. But as Samuel moved, his eyes widened, locking onto something behind Elon. A figure stepped from the van, their face illuminated by the streetlight. An unmistakable face. It was someone Elon thought he'd never see again. A former partner, one he had thought vanished. They wore a sly smile that felt like poison, holding a device that shimmered with lethal possibilities. "Did you really think you could outrun me, Elon?" they taunted. "This is just the beginning!" Elon's breath caught. The air vibrated with tension, and before he could react, everything spiraled into darkness, leaving only echoes of what once was. Questions raced in his mind. What was the secret? Who were these shadows from the past? And how deep did this conspiracy run? The intensity of those moments melded into one cruel truth. Nothing would be the same again. The air was thick with tension. A quiet that felt like an explosion waiting to happen. Elon stared into Samuel's eyes, the flickering flame of potential battling the shadow of desperation. "What do you know?" Elon asked, his voice a mix of urgency and hope. "What's the secret that could change everything?" Samuel hesitated, his fingers twitching, like he was holding back a storm. The world around them blurred, a sea of blurred faces, each too busy to care. "It's not just about the tech," Samuel whispered, his voice barely audible over the distant sounds of the city. "It's about the danger, the people I worked with." Suddenly, a jarring sound shattered the moment, a crash echoing from across the street. They both turned, their hearts racing. A figure staggered, then collapsed to the ground, a man, soaking in the glow of the streetlights. His face twisted in agony. The sight felt like a punch to the gut. Without thinking, Elon rushed to the scene. Samuel's eyes widened in fear, but he followed. A small crowd had gathered, murmurs weaving through the air. Elon knelt beside the man, a fresh wave of panic washing over him. "Hey, what happened?" he asked, concern flooding his voice. The man groaned but managed to choke out words. I saw it. The deal. It's all wrong." His words were slurred and desperate. "He's coming for you. For everyone." Elon's skin crawled. This was bigger than he thought. He glanced at Samuel, who was now pale, his expression a mix of shock and understanding. "What deal?" Elon pressed, glancing back at the man. But suddenly, the stranger's eyes rolled back, and he convulsed. The life draining out of him. Panic erupted around them. People gasped. Someone screamed. Then Samuel staggered back, his face ghostly white. "Elon, we have to go, now!" His voice was high-pitched, edged with fear. Confusion raced through Elon as he pulled back. "Wait, what do you know? Who's coming?" "People who don't want the truth out!" Samuel's breath quickened as reality crashed into place. "They'll do anything to silence it." "The people I worked with, they're dangerous." But before Elon could respond, a dark figure emerged from the crowd. It was a man dressed sharply, glaring with malicious intent. "Samuel Davis," he said, his voice smooth and threatening. "You shouldn't have come back. You don't realize what you're dragging into this." Elon felt a chill creep down his spine. It was as if the city had shifted, morphed into something foreboding. "Who is this guy?" he thought. "I was never gone!" Samuel shouted defiantly, taking a step forward. "You think you can scare me back into hiding?" The man's expression twisted into a wicked smile. "You've turned every friend into a foe. You think returning to this city will save you? No, your secrets belong to me now." Elon trembled, torn between Samuel's fierce determination and the cold threat looming before them. This wasn't just about tech anymore. It was about betrayal, survival, and layers of dark secrets threatening to unravel everything. A pulsing energy filled the air. The city seemed to churn, the tension like a taut string about to snap. As Samuel faced the man, Elon felt a rising fear. Could Samuel's secrets pull them all into a deeper nightmare? The world around them froze. Who was this man? What did Samuel really know? As the painful silence stretched, something deep inside Elon stirred. A truth he couldn't yet grasp, but knew was coming. What would happen if they lost this battle? The answers danced just out of reach, but he could feel them, heavy and ominous. The world felt electric, the tension curling like smoke around them. Elon stared into the eyes of the man before him, each heartbeat drumming with uncertainty. Who was this figure from Samuel's past? You think I'm scared, don't you? Samuel challenged, fists clenched. The air crackled with something intangible, a moment that hovered like a storm cloud. Scared? The man scoffed. You should be. The game's changed. You don't just step back into your old life. Then, just as the words hung heavy in the night, an explosive sound erupted from the sky, booming like thunder. Elon looked up instinctively, and that's when everything unraveled. A massive form descended from above, a drone, its propellers screeching, shadowing the alley. It hovered ominously, a black silhouette against the city lights. "No, this can't be," Samuel murmured, terror etched across his features. Elon was frozen, wrestling with disbelief. The drone emitted a low hum, and then a mechanical voice crackled through the chaos. "Samuel Davis," it announced. "Your time is up. Surrender now." The crowd outside turned, whispers igniting like fire. People backed away, fear spreading, eyes wide with shock. "What is happening?" a woman shouted, clutching her child. Samuel's face twisted in desperation. "Elon, we need you!" But before he could finish, the drone released a bright flash. A beam of light shot down, enveloping Samuel. Elon's heart sank. "Samuel!" he shouted, reaching out, but it was too late. The beam struck. Samuel's body stiffened, eyes wide with panic. The light flickered, and in an instant, it vanished. The alley was silent, an eerie hush swallowing the chaos. Elon stood, mouth agape, unable to comprehend. The man, Jack, smirked, amusement dancing in his eyes. Did you really think he could escape what he created? What did you do? Elon demanded, stepping closer, disbelief hardening into something potent and sharp. I'm just here for the truth, Jack replied, voice suave and taunting. And Samuel's past is a ticking time bomb. Suddenly, a warmth enveloped Elon as he turned to where Samuel stood just moments before. But now, all that was left was emptiness, a vacuum where his friend had been. Panic gripped him, and he stumbled back, gasping, "You monster!" "Monster? Bon? Jack chuckled. "No, my friend, just a witness. And now you'll see what lies beneath the surface. Let the game begin." With that, the drone lifted, flying away into the darkness, leaving behind a chilling void. Elon's chest felt crushed under the weight of what had just happened. Samuel was gone, vanished, as if he were never real. Faces in the crowd morphed into blurred shapes, whispers fading into an indistinguishable hum. Without warning, a jolt surged through Elon. He stumbled back against the wall, breathless as memories flooded his mind. Visions of their conversations, the untold truths, glimmers of genius in Samuel's eyes. And then everything twisted again. Jack stepped forward, his grin cold, revealing a truth so deep it sent shivers through Elon. Samuel's invention wasn't just groundbreaking tech. It involved mind control, total manipulation. He could have changed the world, but he chose to hide. And now you're in this mess too, Elon. His heart raced wildly. What are you saying? Each word felt like a stone, heavy and sinking. There are layers, my friend, Jack sneered. And only the brave can peel them back. Your past holds more than you think, and it's tangled in Samuel's secret. Elon's blood ran cold. He was stumbling through a maze he didn't even know existed. It was getting darker, heavier, a pressure building like a wave about to swallow him whole. He opened his mouth to argue, to demand clarity, but nothing came out. What did Jack know about him? What had Samuel hidden? The truth felt slippery, always just out of reach. And in the silence, doubt crept in like a thief, stealing his resolve. Then, suddenly, the ground shook again. Not from the drone, not from Jack, but from something much larger, far more sinister. An approaching force that loomed on the horizon, threatening to pull everything apart. "Run!" Jack shouted. But the urgency felt distant. "You have to choose, Elon, before it's too late." The shadows shifted, growing taller, deeper, as Elon stood at the precipice of knowledge, staring into a void, where every answer seemed to twist into a new question. Would he uncover the truth, or would it all consume him, and whatever was left of Samuel? Elon stood there, heart racing, catching his breath. The shadows were shifting, dark horizons looming as Jack's smirk twisted into a sneer. "You think you can just walk away? You're wrapped up in this mess now, whether you like it or not." The ground shook beneath them. A low hum reverberated through the air, growing louder, swallowing the space between them. Elon turned, the drone now tiny against the night sky, its spotlight swirling over the crowd, casting eerie shadows. "Elon, we need to go!" Samuel's voice echoed from nowhere, a ghost in the silence. But a sudden crack pierced the moment. Glass shattered. A car had hit a lamppost nearby. People screamed, faces twisted in fear. But Elon felt a different kind of fear. Something deeper. A pulse of danger throbbing in his chest. "Jack, stop!" Elon yelled, his voice cracking. "This isn't right." But Jack only laughed. A deep, rumbling laugh that curled around like smoke. "Who says what's right? It's all about survival now." Jack pointed at the crowd, his gaze cold. "They all want a show, and you are the star." Just then, the ground trembled again, but this time it was more than a shake. A rumble, a deep growl rolled through them. The shadows warped, flickering like flames in the wind. Suddenly, the drone erupted in a flash, a bolt of blinding light that struck the edge of the street. "Elon, duck!" a voice shouted from behind. He turned just in time to see a figure leap from the shadows. Lily, the woman who had appeared earlier. She was all action, a streak of light against the chaos. "Get down!" she shouted again, arms spread wide as if she could shield them both. The blast rocked the ground. Smoke filled the air, swirling like a living thing, choking off sound. Elon could barely breathe, a heavy weight pressing on his chest. As the smoke cleared, the crowd gasped. There, Amidst the debris stood Samuel, but something was wrong. His eyes, wide, hollow, shone with a strange light. "Elon, it's too late," he rasped, voice strained. "Samuel," Elon shouted, scrambling closer. But something shifted, something in the air. It wasn't just fear anymore. There was anger too, a fury simmering at the surface. "I didn't mean for this to happen." Samuel swallowed hard, his jaw tight. "They're watching, always. The truth is brutal." Jack stepped back, his face pale. "What did you do?" he whispered, breathless. And then it hit him, a realization that struck harder than any blow. Samuel's panic morphed into a desperate plea. "Elon, they know what I created. This tech, it's connected to everything you've seen. The danger, the threats, it's not just me. It's all bigger than you think." Before he could finish, another rumble erupted, more powerful this time. The ground rose beneath them. Elon stumbled, watching in horror as the street buckled and split wide open. But while chaos roared around him, all eyes were on Samuel. Then a brilliant flash erupted, and like a curtain being pulled aside, a hidden compartment in the street gaped open. A chest, a box, gleaming in the eerie light, rose up, revealing itself to the world like a dark secret at last set free. "Open it!" Jack screamed, voice hoarse. "You need to see!" And in that moment, as if entranced by some magnetic force, Elon found himself moving toward it. But deep inside, a cold, hard truth broke like glass. What if this was all part of Samuel's plan? Samuel had been hiding, running from something greater. And now it was all unraveling, like a frayed thread. They gathered closer, the crowd held in suspended disbelief, images of terror mingling with the shadows. As he reached out to touch the surface of the chest, the world slowed, breaths taken in unison. What lay beneath? What did it all mean? The air thickened with tension, a charged silence waiting to explode. And then, just as he brushed his fingers against it, Samuel screamed, "No!" But it was too late. The chest exploded open, a vortex of light erupting, pulling Elon into its depths. As he was sucked in, the world blurred into chaos, everything shifting. The whispers of truth, half-formed fears, and sorrow flooded through him. In that moment, he knew everything was about to change. And as darkness roiled around him, he felt one last haunting thought sink deep into his mind. Who or what was really pulling the strings? The truth was more convoluted than he could ever have imagined, waiting like a specter on the edges of discovery. The light from the chest blasted forward, consuming the alley in a blinding glow. Elon stumbled, shielding his eyes, pulse racing. As the brilliance faded, shadows shifted, revealing a glitching hologram, a swirling vision of Samuel's past. "Elon!" a voice called, familiar and chilling. It was Samuel, but distorted. "You must understand, I didn't just hide from them. I created a technology that could change thought, reshape reality. I thought I could keep it safe, but they found me. Now it's time to face the truth." Elon's heart pounded. The crowd gasped. faces morphing from shock to terror. "What truth?" Elon shouted, desperation churning inside him. "What did you create?" A pulse of energy surged from the hologram, fragmenting into images. Samuel's lab filled with inventions, hushed meetings with powerful figures, a betrayal that seeped into his bones. They wanted control. The hologram fumbled, flickering like a dying star. "I thought I could save the world, but I was wrong." Suddenly, Jack lunged forward, panic flashing in his eyes. "Shut it down!" he screamed, reaching for a hidden device in his coat. But it was no use. The chest erupted into a spiral of colors, revealing their worst fears. Visions of chaos, manipulation, and lies spinning like a tornado. "Don't!" Elon lunged to stop Jack, but the moment froze. The noise of the world faded. The chaos left behind them in the real world. Just this moment, the heart of it all. Elon felt something shift in him. "Samuel," he whispered, "I can help you. We can fix this." But the hologram flickered, its shape dimming. "You think?" Samuel's voice faded, drowned by a wave of dark energy swirling from the chest. "You'll have to choose, Elon. Truth or safety. You must decide or everything will be lost." Elon's heart raced. Time was slipping away, and all the air felt heavy. "Samuel, I'm not leaving you!" A rumble echoed as the darkness encroached, cold and suffocating. Suddenly, the ground shook again, sending everyone stumbling. The buzz of the drone was back, the sound growing louder, more threatening. A sharp wind whipped through the alley, carrying echoes of Samuel's voice intertwined with every breath. "Use your voice, Elon. Don't let them take away what you love." With sudden clarity, Elon glanced at the people behind him. Their faces filled with fear, uncertain yet resolute. He turned back to the hologram, determination flooding him. "I choose truth, Samuel. Together." A blinding light exploded from the chest, swirling around him like a whirlwind. It consumed everything: the shadows, the noise, the echoes. And for a moment, it felt like time stretched on forever. And then, silence. The light faded, the world coming back into focus. Elon gasped, staring down at the empty chest. The crowd murmuraba, blend en vísperas de despertar y oh. Él turnó, buscando a Samuel, pero la calle fue en ti. Samuel se bañó. ¿Qué ha pasado? Jack murmura, mirando a su lado, mal comprendido. Elon fremía, el peso de la realización pesado. Creo que hemos sentado en descubrirlo todo. La verdad y su coste, pero acaba de empezar. Sin otra palabra, de espera. He stepped back as the crowd turned restless. The night still buzzed with uncertainty, but hope flickered faintly beneath despair. He felt a surge of energy. "This isn't over," he murmured, determination surging. "I'll find him. I'll make it right." And as he took a deep breath, something inside him ignited. A promise to uncover whatever lay ahead. But what of the power that Samuel had unleashed? And what would it mean for them all? You have to subscribe now. The next chapter of this story is just starting, and you won't want to miss a moment. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and keep this community alive. Join the conversation and flood the comment section with your theories about Samuel and the truth. And please, share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this ending. Don't wait even a second longer to support us. Your voice matters.